Because they don't like being called
They're very
fat,
small,
so big is the closest thing you can go with it.
I think it's I think it's business leaders.
Business leaders underground? Because that would be a better
Whoever
one. It's
it
like,
is.
yeah, we're all leaders, but we don't want people to know that, so we have to meet in secret.
Well, she needs to pick a better outfit.
Okay.
I wasn't mean about it. I just thought it was funny.
I like
eating
being
Pocky.
mean about it, so that would have been my option.
Oh, it was on my end.
What's
That
on
was
your end?
weird. Well, I mentioned your camera was saying camera failed to start. Try again.
Oh,
But
that's just Discord being
apparently that was
stupid.
just some. Yeah, now you're a couple of spinning. Oh, well, yeah, not working.
Anyway,
I guess
we're
we'll
on
just have
stream.
to
They can see
imagine
me
what you look like.
perfectly fine.
Good.
So welcome to Game Central Junction, everyone. As always, I'm your host, Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. Wrong show title. I swear I went and fixed it. Let me double check.
Game Central Junction.
Is this what it says for you? On YouTube?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh. This is not the other one. This
Yeah,
is this
yeah.
one.
It is Game
The
Central
show is
Junction.
this show.
Yeah. There was an error before. Maybe he just needed a refresher or whatever. I had to go in and fix it, but I fixed it like within a minute of the stream starting.
Okay. You're too
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
on the trigger.
Yeah.
So, I'm eating Pocky.
Anyway, as always, I'm your host, Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. We're here to talk about games, maybe toys and collectibles. Actually, I do have something along that lines today. Anything adjacent to interactive media. So, if you even have a friend, maybe a hater, a sworn enemy, an arch nemesis, grab that link, share it with them. I don't even care if you guys bicker in the chat, as long as you're here. And we'll get started with the show. But hey, if you are here and you enjoy it, you can always consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. Really helps us out. It's almost like a ticket for attendance, but we can't actually charge that. Anyway, how you doing today?
Good. Big news. Big news this week. Big news.
Is it
Exciting.
the Legend of Zelda Lego set that is down the pipes? Is
No.
that the big news you're talking about?
No, but that sounds exciting too.
Yeah. Because the only news I guess that many people would consider big is probably not something we'll talk about on this show. That'll have to be saved for Monday.
No?
There's
Not
game
that big
news? If you're talking
game
about the
news,
Steam machine, it's not that big of news.
Well, seems pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that everybody's been doing with Steam machines before, except Valve's putting out an official one. It is like 6 times stronger than a Steam Deck is, so I guess that's kind of cool. But at the end of the day, it's still just a Proton modified, what do they call it, the Steam OS computer that you'll be able to use functionally as a console. It was on our list of things to talk about, so we can start with that if you want.
Yeah, well, I think the most, well, to my mind, the exciting thing about it is it can realistically be used as a console in terms of just plug it in your computer, and that it will fit and look good next to your, sorry, plug it into your TV and it'll look like a console, which, I've contemplated, putting a computer out there, hooking that up, but it's just like, then it's like, why do you have a computer? Weird. But
I mean, I don't know why
this
that'd be
thing-
weird. Is that weird? What was it? Because
weird to
like,
boomers like me.
yeah, I've had like 20 friends that all have like a media PC in their living rooms that they could also play games on if they want to, but it's actually mostly for streaming before smart TVs and stuff were really a thing. And it's like, well, I already got a PC out there. Why would I convert to a smart TV? And before consoles really made it accessible for streaming, it's like, well, I already have the PC out there. Why would I start using a console for that? And because, you know, there's also stuff that you can't stream that you could use a PC to watch on your TV. Arg.
Mm-hmm.
But you could use the Steam, this, what are they calling it? The Steam box or whatever it is. The new Steam console. Steam Cube. I've seen a lot of people saying that. You could use that
Steam Cube
for those not so accessible movies too. Like it is literally just a PC.
Yeah. Yeah. Steam machine. The big green steam machine. Except it's black.
Yeah. I think I would probably, if I had one, I would colloquially refer to it as a steam engine.
Yeah. Steam machine, and has a Steam controller and a Steam frame.
Mm.
I don't know about Steam frame. That doesn't shout VR to me.
Yeah, but it actually looks really cool. Most of the time, I don't think the VR that anybody's working on is actually good, but their setup for it seems like a decent direction for a VR setup.
Mm-hmm. And frankly, it looks a lot like the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
So,
which was one of the other few ones that I've ever complimented. So that's just in general the right direction.
Although I certainly hope it's less expensive. Jeez. Whew.
They probably will charge slightly less. As they'll charge as little as they feel like they can still profit on. That's usually been Valve's MO, right? While Apple now we're a luxury brand, so they will charge way more than they would actually need to charge for it.
Yeah. You wanna? Well, I mean, everyone knows how expensive it was.
Yeah.
But it is cool that it has storage itself, so you can actually load games right into the VR headset. But I did watch the intro video via Asmongold, and he was, being a little sarcastic, but at the same time, seemed like the look of it.
It looks like an old console, right? Not just the fact that it's a box, right? So, and people think of the GameCube, but even a lot of the design reminds me of like PlayStation 2, which was the exact same era as the GameCube, and it doesn't look like a modern console, and I think that's why it's visually appealing to me. For some reason, I just think these old consoles looked better.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the old, the Android. Like there was this spate of Android consoles for a while.
Yeah, like the Ouya, which is just this tiny little cube. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone making an Android console. None of them, all of their user interfaces sucked. All of them.
Every single one.
I never saw one. Yeah, I never saw one that looked good, and it never like worked right. And I guess because they're trying to shoehorn mobile games onto a console.
Actually, I think the Ouya, while the user interface wasn't good, functionally it was actually a really good machine. It was just very underrated. People laughed at it, so they didn't want to get it. But I had a friend who did get an Ouya, and we used it, and it was a really good machine.
Yeah, I still have one.
Oh, yeah, you had one too. I keep forgetting you had one. I think, other than the user interface, it was a good machine.
I think maybe one of the problems, it was a curated, I guess they all had like a curated.
Well, because you couldn't put just like any mobile game on there. You wouldn't have the interface for playing half of them.
Yeah, and I do remember
more than half.
They would all be, they're very familiar games, but they would have like, controller controls, right?
Yeah.
So things that were normally touch, it would have like a little A button and a B button and stuff on the screen. I don't know. I don't know why. I feel like it was just maybe people just realized that the game offerings on Android were underwhelming.
Yeah, and a lot of the games that you could get on those devices, the Ouya being the biggest one that everybody knew, you could just get a Steam version of the game too, which is why a lot of people just went back to putting a PC in their living room or building their own Steam machines, which is something people have been doing for a long time. This is just an official one now.
Yeah.
I actually remember, not the same line, but I guess like a sister line to it. I used to have an old Asus gaming laptop. Actually, I think I had, maybe it was Generation 1 or Generation 2, but it was really close to the beginning of the Republic of Gamers laptop, like when they were really new. Those big, bulky ones, right?
Yeah.
Which I think Buck got the ROG version of the same year that I got this tough one. But we actually used that basically as a Steam machine in a way, because it was powerful enough to run everything at that time. It was a really strong computer, and we could easily just like carry my laptop around, plug in like a multi USB port junction so there'd be enough controllers for everybody, and just HDMI it right into a TV, and it was functionally just a console.
Yeah. Well, I feel like things like this where they tried going with, third party partners and stuff. It's kind of like how Apple, well, a lot of companies end up just kind of realizing like, okay, we don't know if it's, the third party things never really take off. And they're like,
I don't know if this will take off.
Well, but I think what the thinking is nobody's done it right yet. Like where we've been kind of disappointed in all of these other companies. We're going to build one that is exactly how we envisioned, how we thought this should have been. With sort of the industrial design and really super fast. Connectivity is supposedly amazing.
Yeah. So, well, here I think
we'll see how good it is.
There's a big problem in marketing. Like Valve normally doesn't have to market anything they do. They didn't even really market the Steam Deck. And the Steam Deck does all right, but it's not exactly a popular item that tons of people have, proportionately speaking. The issue comes down to, and I think the Steam Deck probably has even more appeal than the Steam machine does. If you don't market it, the people who see it and would be interested in it potentially are people who are already PC gamers and don't need it. Right, because most of them, unless, their machine's aging and maybe that's what they decide to upgrade to, but then you have to understand, like, most PC gamers also use their computer for everything else. So it's like, yeah, you could get a more powerful gaming device that is still a PC. You could do other PC things with it, but you might as well just upgrade to a better desktop at that point, because you're using it for everything else too. So they need to actually make commercials, and they need to go and advertise it, even if the commercials aren't on TV. They're like on Twitch or whatever, where gamers watch things. They're actually going to have to advertise it, because they need to start marketing this to people who don't already use Steam. Like to the console-only people, and maybe even market, like, look how big the PC gaming library is. Look at all these games you could play on computer that are also on console, but all these ones that aren't as well, right? Like, they actually are going to have to do a marketing campaign if they want this otherwise really niche thing to reach out to console players or anybody who doesn't already have a gaming PC.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of reasons why it could be considered better than a console, certain consoles. Of course, there's no Nintendo games on there, but it seems like every game that comes out console is definitely going to be on Steam as well. And
Even if it's
That's
just
valid.
delayed for PlayStation, right? Because like the games that they said were never coming out, and then like 2 years later, Spider-Man is on Steam, right? So it's like you can get everything eventually.
hmm and more often than not, it's on Steam, and maybe it's on Steam kind of first and foremost.
Oh
But
yeah,
also
yeah.
the
Especially if
prices
it's
tend to
not
be
made by one of the 3 console makers, with Microsoft being the exception that because Microsoft works in PC, a lot of their stuff is also on PC first. But if it's from a AAA non-console developer studio like EA or Ubisoft, yeah, a lot of their stuff is just going to be available on PC right away.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's one way they could market it. It's like, I mean, it's a way bigger library than any console out there. The other thing I was thinking was right out of the gate on day one, I'm sure it will play all games that are on Steam, right?
Yeah.
Like there won't be any
It was actually
configuration
one of the
issues,
funniest
there won't be
things.
any-
I don't know if you saw that. It was I don't know if it was Spencer himself. He did have some opinions on it, but there was some Xbox guy who was making some shots of how like, yeah, but unlike or the Steam machine won't have Xbox backwards compatibility. And it's like, it doesn't need Xbox backwards compatibility. Some of those old Xbox games are already available on Steam anyway because there were PC ports of them. It is backwards compatibility of everything like after XP.
I mean,
I think even
it has
the
backwards
Steam OS
compatibility.
even has 2 XP too. Like they went and made sure they could do that. There was an issue between things older than 7 for a while, but I think Steam fixed that themselves.
Really? I mean,
It was just the way that DirectX
it's
worked
running-
on XP. There were like specific issues for only a few years,
okay.
but I think Steam fixed that.
But there are games from the 80s on Steam.
Yes, but
mean,
that's
there's-
because they use
they-
like a DOS box. They technically
DOS box.
those older games are being emulated. XP games weren't using DOS; they were using DirectX, and there was just like a weird way that DirectX functioned on XP that was an issue for a while. Actually, I don't even think Steam had to. I think Microsoft fixed that because a lot of people were bitching about the Microsoft Store when they started selling the apps. I think they were the ones that actually fixed the interconnectivity. So there shouldn't be any problem. If you have your system set up to run Windows games, which the Steam machine will be working on a form of Linux. It's like a modified version of Proton, but they have it built that you can run pretty much any Windows game on it. They have their system functioning that way. It should be fine. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I would say that it probably has the most backwards compatibility
Ever.
that you could possibly get.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you can play plenty of non-Windows games as DOS box built in and pre-configured and.
Yeah. I'm just weird about saying backwards compatibility to DOSBox, but if we count the fact that some of the Xbox games aren't playing natively, they're being emulated as well, then I will count all of DOSBox, because technically DOSBox is emulation, and that's like no different, but I don't know, it's just weird in my head about talking about backwards compatibility. You can still play all the games, regardless.
I'm thinking in terms of the average person.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know anything about any of that. They're like, can you get the game?
Does it run?
Install and can you play it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it run? Yeah, it runs. Okay. I don't care how. Magic. It's all magic. How do modern games run? Magic.
How do computers work? We used magic to teach rocks how to think.
Exactly. But the downside that Asmongold brought up is that I doubt it's, other than maybe capacity with SD cards, I doubt it's going to be upgradable. Like, without.
It's got
like,
USB
you're not
ports.
Gonna be able to,
I think you could probably just plug in any external hard drive into it, USB style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Other than capacity, Like you're not going to be able to swap out the CPU. Probably you're not going to be able to add more memory. So
You
like
might-
it's going to have a
Well, you have to mod it, right?
limited
That
life.
was what you'd have to do. Like, I'm sure you could easily get more RAM into it, but it probably, I don't even know what kind it uses. Probably using some type of like mobile RAM chip. So you're probably gonna have to like go in and solder that yourself or whatever if you wanted to add more. It's not gonna be plug and play like having a desktop.
Mhm. Although they did say something about open, what they call it, open ecosystem.
Okay.
So like, I mean, I'm sure that mostly means like you can use any Bluetooth controller with it, and you can
Yeah, and basically,
into any
I'm
TV.
assuming any USB object that most computers would recognize, it's probably built to recognize. More importantly, even if I had one of those things, I wouldn't want one if a mouse and keyboard wouldn't work with it. But good news, it's a computer. I could probably plug in literally any mouse and keyboard and it'll work with it.
Yeah, it has USB output and it has Bluetooth. Use a Bluetooth mouse or whatever keyboard. I'm looking at the specs. It only has 16 gigs DDR5 memory. I don't know if you can upgrade that. That'll be interesting. I guess 16
You'd be
is
funny.
fine.
You open it up, and it's literally just like laptop RAM, which a lot of laptops, like you can. There's still strips. You can change them out. I could add more RAM to this one if I wanted to. If it's that
If
easily
it's-
laptop RAM, you could just upgrade it. Just got to find the right kind.
If it's not soldered to the board.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, which like you can't upgrade the RAM on a MacBook.
No.
Pro or whatever, which is obnoxious because theoretically
I'm just used to
could.
having gaming laptops. You're like, oh no, we're gonna have a port for it like you would on a desktop.
Yeah. It's interesting that it's not. Is it not 100% USB? Like, are they USB-C ports?
Oh, I hope
I
not.
don't know. Why do they still have USB 2?
There should be they should double up, right? There should be a couple C's, and there should be like 4 3.2s or whatever we're on right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think it should also all be C, and
There's still so many things that don't use C though.
yeah.
Unless
So the front has
I guess one could be a C with a USB like 3 point whatever dongle, right? Like you could just have a multi dongle that goes into C, and that could solve that problem. You can leave that up to the consumer though. Like as long as it functions, I could get my own dongle.
It does have DisplayPort and HDMI output. So the front of it actually has 2 old school USB Type A, but USB 3 inputs.
Yeah, I didn't look too much at the bay, the docking in the
Yeah.
front.
That's what it looked like. I was like, wait, is that USB A? Like A shape, whatever it's called.
Dude, I barely have
at least
anything that uses that. I think my Yeti uses USB A for the power port. I think like the Elgato uses A. I have a pair of Bluetooth sunglasses that I think uses A to charge.
So what are Bluetooth sunglasses?
Well, they're sunglasses that have like little adjustable earbuds attached to the frame that you can put into your ear. And they can attach to any device, and you can listen. They even have like little buttons on the side for skip forward, backwards, and pause. If you have like any type of music player that picks that up, you could just shuffle without having to pull your phone out of your pocket.
Yeah. That's cool. And on the back, it has 2 USB 2. Like, why does USB 2 even exist anymore? Type A as well. And the one USB-C is the 3.2, like you said, 10 gigabits, which I guess would be great for plugging into a capture card.
Yeah. Because
and Ethernet.
looking at how it's running and the demand of games now, you probably could stream directly from it. I think that's possible, especially if you're using Steam's capture. Like maybe you're one of the people you want to just stream directly to Steam. That is an option you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at only 16, you're probably going to be struggling to want to do a traditional stream setup where you're plugging into 2 different monitors, like your TV and maybe another one, and you've got like OBS or something on the side. I mean, it would still probably make it a better experience than using my computer to do that, because I only have 8 gigs and somehow I managed to do this stuff. But it's not the most comfortable thing. I wonder if they'll actually have their own streaming software in there, similar to like how PlayStation and Xbox do. They haven't mentioned it yet, but I don't know, because I don't know if Steam Deck does, and this should be the same operating system in the Steam Deck, right?
Yeah, I think so. But you can only stream to Steam.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I can never keep up with like what the speeds are. I don't understand. They're saying that the rear USB 2 ports are 1 gigabit. That must be. See, that's deceptive because each one is only half. They're just they're doubling them. Hey, there's 2 of them. Let's just double the
together. They've got it. Yeah. Joshua asks, would it be possible to use mods on the Steam console? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can use mods on the Steam Deck. Yeah. People use it as an emulation machine. They can't advertise. Yeah. They can't advertise that people use their Steam Deck as an emulation machine, but you can emulate basically anything on it, and you can mod anything too. It's just like having a PC.
You have to learn a little bit about if you're not familiar with Linux.
Yeah. Unless you're using stuff that's Steam Workshop. But all of that stuff is intuitive and just native to the thing.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the game. But yeah, at least I assume it's going to be just like the Steam Deck in that you can boot to a Linux shell. Or boot to a Linux GUI. And on the Steam Deck, you have full access to the full file system. And like for Stardew Valley, it works just the same. You download, same mods work perfectly. You just put them in the Stardew Valley mod folder with Smappy, and it works just.
Is Valve now the number 1 console developer? Is it still Nintendo? Valve is not even on the list yet. I mean, they're technically there, but everybody else has produced more than Valve. They're really only just dipping their toes into it. Though they might pass up Xbox with this, because Xbox has dropped really, really low.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna end up on the charts as a. Well, I've never seen like Steam Deck on like console charts.
Yeah,
but
it should be though. It is technically a console by many people's standards.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've got RetroArch installed on my Steam Deck, which I always use to play games that I own legally.
But maybe this won't be on the charts though, because it technically isn't a console. It's being built like one, but they even say like this is a PC that can just function as your console.
Yeah,
they want to inform you and be clear that's what it is.
It's basically like a Steam Deck without a screen.
But does it matter though? Because all the other consoles are becoming more and more like PCs anyway. In fact, Xbox said that the next one's basically just going to be a stripped down gaming PC similar to this. Like that's like the words they came out. Kind of, sort of, because like they've always, the original was the direct Xbox, like that was the intent of it. And I think the Xbox 360 and on all had a stripped down version of the current operating system. Technically, the original Xbox was not a stripped down version of like XP or anything like that. They'd make just a DirectX machine, but everyone after that was kind of like, okay, we took Windows Vista and we cut it apart and made an Xbox out of it, and then or we took Windows 8 and we cut it apart and made an Xbox out of it. The current one is technically the prototype version of Windows 11. They had been working on it on the Xbox a lot longer than they put it on PCs.
Yeah. I guess the question, the main question I have is what's the upgradability of it?
Yeah.
You know, if 2 years after you buy it, can you swap out the graphics card? Can you upgrade the RAM? And those are questions I don't think we have the answers to at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know.
But how upgradable is the Steam machine?
But I think that was the same questions people were having with the Steam Deck, right? Like, the Steam Deck's way more powerful than the Switch when it comes out, but it's like, how long will it be a viable handheld unit for anything that's new? It's like, are they going to come out with new models of the Steam Deck? And they might do that, right? They might just come out with like a new model a few years later. It's like, and they probably won't even call it like a full Steam Deck 2. They'll probably just be like, it's the Steam Deck version 2, or they might have like a V 1.8, 2.3, whatever they're at. But it'll be more sold on Steam Deck with the specs than anything else. That's what they'll be looking at.
Okay, so what we do know, apparently, which I didn't know a minute ago, is that the RAM is upgradable.
Okay.
So that's good. Because 16 gigs, I mean, I'm sure it's fine today, but I feel like in a year or two, you're going to want 32 or 64.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, 60 gigs is still great for most games, as long as you're doing nothing else on your machine. Right?
Yeah, but you're not going to be.
Yeah. Well, because technically, most games right now only require 8 gigs from you, which is why my computer struggles even when I'm not doing anything else, because I only have 8. So obviously you want slack. You want more than whatever the game requires from you, because your machine is doing other things. So 16's fine. But yeah, what happens in this age we're getting to, not just where now everything's got ray tracing and stuff, and it's not just relying on your video RAM, but it's borrowing some of your other RAM to do things that the RAM shouldn't be doing. But now we're also getting into, we want to put language models inside of games for functioning AI. It's like your machines are going to constantly have to get a lot more powerful to play some of the stuff that these companies have aspirations for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's weird. I asked in a different way, and now Google Gemini, worst AI ever, is saying that you can't upgrade the RAM. So I don't know.
I wouldn't trust Gemini at all.
Yeah. But I will say the Steam Deck has 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
So the fact this has 16 is
they said it's like 5 or 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck. So even though it doesn't have more RAM, everything else is going to be carrying the load.
Yeah. It's going to have faster RAM. It's going to have, a much better CPU and GPU. Like, obviously, the Steam Deck has an integrated GPU. That's not going to be spectacular, but this one, I believe, has a separate, pretty good CPU or GPU. Let me see here. Oh, the one thing I will say that is impressive is that it has an M.2 hard drive slot.
Okay.
Which is a big. What's that?
I said okay.
Yeah, that is a. Let me just tell you, that is a huge improvement in like loading speed over the what's it called, the NVMe or whatever it's called, which is the only option with the Steam Deck because it's too small for an M2. That'll be a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
I mean, just loading games, just installing them and loading them up. That's going to be a huge difference. That'll be fast. Because I have M2 hard drives on my computer at work.
Oh yeah.
I before I they made me build it the first week I was at work, and I don't know that I knew about M.2 because that's what PlayStation 5 uses, but I think I looked it up and it's just
Yeah,
like
I don't know how
it's
modern
almost
consoles do this. Like, I don't know how. I haven't looked into how they do it. If I were making a machine that was supposed to function like a console, I would probably have two different hard drives in it. I would probably have something that's closer to a traditional hard drive that is literally just the operating system, with enough room for whatever updates we need for like the next decade or whatever. So it's not a huge one. It's just like a small one for the operating system. And then I would have a completely different solid state drive that is your actual storage for all your games and stuff. This doesn't even touch the operating system drive.
I don't know that you need that anymore because of just how fast hard drives are at this point. And I know this one won't. I mean,
yeah,
it sounds to me like the primary hard drive is the M.2.
Probably, yeah.
And that's going to be super fast and huge. Like my one at work has a 1 terabyte and a 4 terabyte. They're the same size. They're this tiny little stick of gum. And then I think if you really need the capacity, you can add in an SD card that, I wonder if it uses the same super fast XT cards that like the Switch uses that are like 100 times faster.
Well, one of the reasons I would do that
old ones
is because of the target audience, right? You can even make them both SSD. That doesn't really matter, right? It's just because of the target audience, right? And I think this is probably what PlayStation does, just because of cursory knowledge of what people do to their PlayStations. People will completely change out and modify the core storage of their PlayStation.
Yeah.
But all of the operating system data is still in the PlayStation even while they're doing that. So I'm assuming that they don't keep the PlayStation operating system on your core storage.
Are you sure about that? Because like in the PlayStation 5, the M.2 is a second storage, but you can still have games on the primary storage. And I'm pretty sure the OS is on there too, but I could be.
You know, all of my modification stuff, information is still on the PlayStation 4. I just assume that the 5 was still
5.
like it. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
The 5 might actually just have one big storage. I wouldn't know. But on the PlayStation 4, like I knew people who modded it all the time. And even if they took out the main hard drive, the PlayStation 4 still functioned. And I think as a safety mechanism, it's probably just best to not have your operating system on your like main form of storage that people might try to tinker with.
I guess. Yeah, so I can confirm the OS is on the same physical SSD that is soldered on in the PS5.
I don't trust that.
They just partition it so you can only see 667.
Oh, no, I know that it would be partitioned regardless, but like I don't trust that.
Yeah.
Just because I know how many idiots are out there.
I think because SSD is so fast and so you can basically have parallel access. So like you can basically get data from the OS and the game at the same time from the same drive.
Yeah, that's not what I'm concerned about though. I'm concerned about
Okay.
the
I think
physical
that's why
component.
Yeah.
Like me, I would hide it as best as possible too, so it was out of sight. So somebody'd have to like really get in there if they wanted to get to it.
Yeah. And now I will say that is why I tend to put, especially the bigger and PS5 exclusive games on the external M.2.
Yeah.
Or it's not external, but the secondary.
I guess it's because they also think, since they give you this external port for it and everything that you could put an extra hard drive in, they probably just consider how many people are ever going to touch the inside of our PlayStation. That's probably what's going through their mind, and that's probably true, right? Like maybe 90% of people who ever buy a PlayStation is never even going to touch the inside of it. And I might be overthinking it because I'm just used to how people did things through the late 90s, through the aughts. And even like your average gamer might end up opening up their console to see what's going on inside of it. You know, as a kid, I knew what the inside of my NES looked like.
Yeah. I think it's just not.
It's not a concern
necessary
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people are just like, plug it in. Why am I running out of storage? And then I have to ask somebody else. It's like, oh, you know, you can add more storage to it. It's like, oh, okay. And that's like the extent of that conversation, probably.
Interestingly, it is, I would say, and it's easy if you know what you're doing, but it's not super simple for a non-technical person to add that secondary internal hard drive.
You think most people take it to like Geek Squad and they get it to add it in for them? Yeah. It's like, well, I bought my PlayStation at Best Buy. They got to be able to add it in.
Yeah, the person's like, oh, I got to do this super secret method of getting your hard drive in, and it's like unscrew 2 screws, stick it in the slot, screw it back together. That'll be $800. No, that'll be $100. $50.
Yeah.
But of course, you can also just stick an external hard drive or an external thumb drive in a USB slot, and boom, you can install stuff there. But it's going to be pretty slow. Anyway, I could geek out about this stuff.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool that like they've got it's basically like a Pro controller that that kind of automatically syncs into it, and then the VR headset where you can stream it from the Steam machine over like this proprietary. It's like a personal Wi-Fi. I guess the Steam machine acts like a separate router to connect really fast to the VR headset, and then you can also install games directly to the headset, and then you don't have to stream. So it's all very cool. If I've got extra money in January, or February, whenever it comes out, might have to get that.
Well, I mean, at this point, you got to get it for collection, right? Because you already got the Steam Deck. You kind of need this too.
I'll tell you what I need. I need to get the dock for the Steam Deck. Put it in the dock, hook that up to the TV, and then have I could get this controller, but right now I could just get any Bluetooth controller, hook it up to the Steam Deck, use that now.
Dude, vast majority of games, I don't even want to use a controller on. Like a lot of things that are traditional to console, like platformers, controllers are great for 90% of platformers. I could think of some where I actually would prefer a keyboard for it, but for most of platformers, controllers are great. They were mostly designed around some form of controller. Some racing games, stuff. A lot of games, though, I think I would prefer a keyboard or even a fight stick, like an arcade stick for it.
Yeah. I will say that the touch pads that they've got on the Steam Deck and the new controller that are meant to be like almost basically that's your mouse.
Yeah, and you can like program hotkeys to it if you want and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's okay on the Steam Deck. Supposedly these are better because
these ones are like big fat squares.
Yeah, which is what the other one is. But I think this one's supposed to be more precise or something.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really looked too much at the Steam Deck. I was figuring it would probably have something closer to the indented ones that the old Steam controller had. The old Steam controller was pretty cool. The one that predates the Steam Deck.
Yeah, here. No, they look the same on the new controller.
Okay, so it was just like fat, flat squares. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So here and here, and you basically like when I'm downloading mods or something into the Linux for Stardew Valley, you use these and you can move your mouse around. I don't remember which one is which, but anyway. And then it comes up with a keyboard and it's a touch screen, so you can type right on the screen. This isn't going to have that, but supposedly things on the new controller are like capacitative. I don't think these are. This is just where you push on it, and I don't know. They say it's better. They say the new one's better.
I
I
don't know.
will say that
You've seen the old Steam
pointer.
controller, right? That I'm talking about, the one from before the Steam Deck,
I'm not
and it's like it still
sure.
has something in those spots, but they almost look like reverse
What are they
domes,
called?
I guess. There was a Steam controller. It was like literally, I think it was just called the Steam controller. Um,
Oh, they're round.
yeah, they're
Okay.
round, but they're actually faces, right? So it's a geometric
Yeah.
shape, and each one has like a hot zone where if you didn't want to use it as a mouse, because a lot of things would, you could actually like hotkey things to the different faces in there and press it
Oh yeah.
basically. I thought that was a cool controller. I don't know why they started moving away from that. That was also the
Yeah.
controller. I think the first one in the industry to use haptic feedback in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Though then
This
we
one
know that
does too.
and the PlayStation 5 controller has haptic feedback. We found out
Yeah.
playing No More Heroes where there was actually pressure on the the trigger button for the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. This
Mhm.
this one has four
Like udders.
programmable buttons. Well, programmable buttons here,
Yeah.
which I guess, yeah, I've never really figured out what to do with those. But I will say the triggers, these are the best triggers. Well, I'd say they're probably just as good as the PS5 triggers. But when I got this, I think I got
Yeah.
this before the PS5, maybe. These were the best trick because, like,
Mhm.
it's, you know, what do you call it? They're analog, so you can pull a little bit or a lot, and
Mhm.
they feel really good.
They're very
They have really
sensitive.
good, yeah, but there's enough of a pushback that you can sort of feel it,
Yeah.
and it's got haptic feedback. Cool for certain games. So they've gotten some things really, really right with the Steam Deck, and some things that could improve. But I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I
this
guess
will
they
be
just
my
went with
first
this controller
VR.
because it's mirroring what they already did with the Steam Deck, so they're just trying to keep everything uniform.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like it's basically this, but if you just take the screen away, it's like this side right up next to this
Mhm.
side.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks exactly like it.
One of the
It's kind of
funny
like a
things I saw about the device itself is the Behemoth made a post about it, which are the people who make Castle Crashers and all this stuff. This Tom Fulps thing, and it's because it looks like the head of the characters from Battle Block Theater. I don't know if you've ever seen
Mhm.
Battle Block Theater, but
I think so.
yeah.
Asmongold called it a fat Xbox controller, an obese Xbox controller. What's it called? Blockhead Theater? What is it?
Battle Block Theater.
Oh, battle. Oh, all one word.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a great game.
Oh yeah.
Back in the Xbox/GameCube port of Alien Hominid, where they made a full Alien Hominid game, there was a small little mini game you could play with people called the PDA games, and they basically took the idea of the PDA games and made a whole new game out of it years later called Battle Block Theater.
I think what he might mean, just looking at it, the sort of main character, the guy with this top
Yeah.
hat, looks like a white.
Yeah, yeah. Because the slit's like right
uh,
at the mouth level and everything, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I keep forgetting the Steam Machine,
yeah,
the box.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant that the controller.
No, no, no. Let's talk about the machine. At the
Yeah, I got you. I will be interested to see how good the VR is. Asmund was surprised. Like, I guess he didn't know that, you know, you can play non-VR games by basically projecting a TV in front of you, and you can
Yeah, yeah.
size it, put it anywhere. You can like stick it to a location. I was like, well, I knew that because I've done that with the Vision Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool effect. Peach uses it all the time. That's like her favorite way to play games, is to just do it in the headset, and she can just
Zone out
stick the
from the rest of the
TV
world.
anywhere. Yeah, and make it as big or small as you like. And then Apple has like the gestures, like you can click by going
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this. And
Which you really only want to do in the comfort of like your own bedroom or home or whatever, because otherwise you just look like retarded doing that. It's like in Back to the Future 2, where the daughter's got like the headset on or whatever. It's like, oh, there's somebody at the door.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen one person, I think, using a Apple Vision Pro on a plane.
Yeah. They deserve to be laughed at.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
mean, the
wish I had
commercial
one right
showed
now.
people using it on a plane, so I guess like they were showing people using it anywhere where you could tether it properly or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but why would you want to?
And now there's going to be Starlink planes.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have a lot more if you had Starlink too, or some sort of internet. You have a lot more choices of things to watch or play, and you can make the screen huge, like right in front of you,
Yeah.
instead of that tiny little thing on the front of the seat in front of you.
You know, people used to complain about it, but now everybody watches everything on the tiny little screen in front of them.
That's all you've got. That's the only option.
Yeah.
Or do you mean when they're not on airplane?
No, dude, there are people who like will have a huge TV in their bedroom, but they're sitting on their bed watching things on their phone anyway. You know, it's like
it's true. Yeah, it's funny because I lately, and I'll go through periods where I watch this guy who, breaks down music. See the one? I think so. Might have been someone else who's talking about like, you got to hear this, this very orchestral music in some Nintendo game.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're probably watching it on a phone, so you probably won't really get the full effect.
Yeah, you need like headphones on.
How did
so
he
you
know?
can hear everything. Yeah. Listen, actually,
I am watching it on a phone.
Speaker quality is the main reason why I don't usually watch things on the phone. Like if I'm out and about or whatever, sure, you don't have any other option. But if I'm here, I'll even not watch things on the TV sometimes, even though the TV's bigger an option, because I've got my headphones here, or actually I could plug them straight into the PlayStation. So sometimes I use the PlayStation for that thing. But it's like, I'd rather my audio fidelity be better than my visual fidelity more often than not. So I'll walk over to the computer and just watch something on the computer to have my headphones.
Are your headphones are they wired?
They're wired. Yeah.
Or are they? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, if you have Bluetooth, I think you can pair them to the TV.
I'm sure you can.
And
it's a smart TV. It can pair Bluetooth in general. I could pair my computer as speakers to the TV, or vice versa, where like you can play music off my computer on there.
Yeah. Do you want to explain Alien Hominid?
Yes. So Fischoso asks, Alien Hominid? All right. Alien Hominid, great game. Old game. It's made by Tom Fulp of Newgrounds and his programming business partner Dan Paladin. It's kind of the thing that set off the company, the Behemoth, and it is a run and gunner platformer where you play as an alien who has dropped down on Earth to try to take over it, but you basically die in one shot, like a traditional arcade game method. So you'll enter a level, you'll have so many lives. The original was an arcade run if you play the Flash game on Newgrounds, where you die and it's game over after you run out of your lives. But they did ports of it that have like the full game that used to be on Xbox. I think there was a GameCube port too. I think that's how we played it at my cousin's house. I was like, what? Wait, this Newgrounds game is on your GameCube? What are you talking about? I was flabbergasted the first time I saw that, because my dad and I used to play it on his computer at his work all the time. That was like one of my earlier experiences with Newgrounds. And recently, I think it was a couple years ago or whatever, they actually made a sequel to Alien Hominid. It was like 15, 20 years later, the alien's back, right? But wonderful platformer. The console ports were multiplayer, where you could have like 4 people in the level playing together. The aliens had like little hats and stuff. You were shooting a lot of like FBI agents, Men in Black, that were coming to get you. Very fun game.
Yeah.
And now the company makes other games too, like Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater. Castle Crashers, obviously, probably being the biggest thing they ever made. Like, if you asked people what is the behemoth, old heads like me would be like Alien Hominid, even though I like their other stuff. Most people would be like, oh yeah, this the Castle Crasher guys, right? This has nothing to do with xenomorphs at all. Thank God.
Yeah. I was looking up Metroid Prime 4 Beyond because they apparently came out with a retrospective book,
Oh, okay.
like the Hyrule Historia, and apparently there's a new. She gets a new suit in this new one.
Okay, yeah, it looks kind of new. It didn't look exactly the same.
They call it a VO-La suit. VI-. And her vehicle has the same
But
color.
it's like it's an interesting way of just putting the word viola on there.
Yeah. I'm like, what is this? Anyway, I didn't want to necessarily.
It's like a slightly smaller violin, which should also be pronounced violin, but we've gotten to the point that we just say viola and violin now.
Oh, I guess they call the suit the viola suit because the motorcycle is called the viola.
Oh, and they go together.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's where I'll find it eventually. Anyway.
Yeah. You know what they should call the retrospective book? I don't know if they call it this, but if I called it something, I would probably just call it the Federation Archives.
Brilliant.
Mm.
We should. I don't know what they call it, but it caught my eye because it's on sale. But I don't know if I'm that much into Metroid Prime. It's specifically Metroid Prime.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Metroid Prime story is important to the story of Metroid, so you're probably just going to get a lot of good information out of it anyway. But that's probably like one of those things that you could kind of just like wait for it and maybe pick it up on resale or whatever later on.
Yeah, like I said, it is on sale right now.
Yeah.
20% off for $40.
They overcharge for those when they're brand new. Like when they first hit the market every time. Like I feel ripped off getting the original Hyrule Historia. I paid like $80 for that. I'm like, I like this. It's not worth $80.
Yeah.
And that was $80 like a decade ago. Right? Think of how much that would be worth now.
They're just calling it Metroid Prime 1 to 3, a visual retrospective.
Mm.
That would have been great. What do you call
Federation Archives would have been much better. You know?
I'm telling you, they need to call you. I know what to name stuff. So I guess that's all I have to say about the Steam machine.
Okay. Fizz says, who cares about the story of Nintendo games? The writers have openly admitted they don't care, even in regards to Zelda. No, they do care, but Metroid is actually one of the tightest canons out of any Nintendo game. Where all of them do feed into each other, and they respect the things that happened in the other games.
Yeah. Now, this is an art book. They call it a visual retrospective, so it goes into the making of and has all, art.
Yeah. But to respond to the thing he said, Metroid is actually probably the biggest exception out of all the Nintendo stuff where they are really tight about the canon of Metroid.
Yeah, I mean, I was even wondering, like, are they going to disregard the whole fusion thing where she's fused with Metroid DNA?
No.
Or no, wait,
they still bring that up every chance they get.
Yeah, I mean, Metroid 5, Dread, it's integral to the story.
Yeah. Well, they kind of had to, though, because wasn't Fusion the last one that happened up to that point in the timeline? So it's like, it'd be really weird to not bring that up.
Yeah, that was Metroid 4.
Yeah.
And even the X parasites are integral to the Dread story.
Yeah.
So,
When I was saying, like, isn't that the last one? I don't remember if they did anything since then in a side game that would have happened after that. I think even all the other stuff, like when they've made other Prime games, that happens back when Prime happened, which is like between 1 and 2, right? Or when they did Federation Force, that happens even earlier back. I think it's before Samus even started doing things. So they haven't done anything that takes place between 4 and 5.
I guess not. Maybe this one does. I don't know.
I think this one's supposed to happen after everything. I think.
Okay.
From what it's not going backwards and filling in more gaps where Prime used to be. I think this is chronologically later than everything. Like they feel free to do that now. From what I've heard, I don't know though. We could find out. We know barely anything about this game.
Yeah. Metroid's been remarkably tight, like you said. Very, I don't want to say strict, but as a very well-defined canon and timeline and all of that, where each one feeds into the next.
I think the only other game they have that comes that close, if we're talking about something developed by the Nintendo main offices most of the time, which most of the Zelda games, or no, most of the Metroid games were. And then after a certain point, they started having other people work on them. Like Prime was done by Retro Studios and stuff like that. It's probably Star Fox.
And this one
Yeah. Star Fox is probably the one that was the closest from the main Nintendo Studios. Which technically, Retro is main Nintendo studio, sort of. It's a subsidiary of Nintendo. So it still kind of counts at the end of the day. I'm just separating... Fire Emblem technically has the strictest timeline out of any game, but that's an intelligent systems thing, which, they make all these games for Nintendo, but they're not the main Nintendo studio.
Mm-hmm. So, according to the fandom wiki, the Metroid there's a timeline article, and the way it's arranged, trying to see if this is actually what they're trying to say. It looks like all of the Metroid Primes 1 through 4 actually take place between Metroid 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So 4 is not a future. It looks like
so they are putting it back with the rest of the Primes. I wasn't sure if they were or not.
According to this, I don't know if it's accurate, but
we may not have enough information for them to even know yet, right? Because we've only gotten like 2 trailers, like 2 full trailers and a teaser.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this one, my screen went out.
Mm-hmm.
There it goes. I guess Metroid Prime was right after the first one, and then Hunters comes after that.
Yes.
And then 2 and 3, and then Federation Force, and then Metroid Prime 4, and then Metroid 2.
The 3 even directly brings back, I think, 2 of the Hunters in it. So, like, Hunters would have
4
to
has
happen
Hunters.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah. 4 has the Hunters, clearly. And then after 2 comes 3, Super Metroid, and then Metroid Other M. And then 4 and 5, Fusion and Dread.
Yeah. Nintendo games don't only exist for gameplay. Now, they will make the gameplay first,
That's their
but not all
primary.
Nintendo games are even, right? Like, if you were to say Mario exists only for the gameplay, I would probably agree with you, because Mario is like Popeye. Like, that's the type of character he is. There's like a loosey-goosey canon that's like eras. This era of Mario, this is true of him, this era of Mario. But aside from that, it's like Popeye, right? Metroid, on the other hand, they have been crafting a big narrative, and it's like integral to the game. Not all Nintendo games are even, right? Zelda is very narrative centered. It's just not cross narrative centered. The timeline's kind of retroactively, but the individual game you're playing, the narrative matters. So, like, there's different levels of this depending on what Nintendo game you're in.
Yeah. Metroid is, I would say, one of, if not the most narrative-driven properties.
I think it's also the oldest aimed game by Nintendo, right? Like, they're aiming it for, like, older teens compared to younger kids. Just like the tone and everything in it. Even going back to the original, it was a very dark game compared to a lot of the other stuff that they did at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think knowing that they're aiming it towards older people in general, they probably feel more comfortable doing something that's a little bit more narrative based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of cutscenes in Dread, and they're actually, I don't usually like cutscenes, but they're great. I mean, they're integral to the game. It's like
they've always been in the Prime games, right? Like, and they always looked great too, even with the original Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he also asks.
I mean, there's an ongoing story with, like, the hunters that you mentioned are like recurring.
I love Metroid Prime Hunters. That's my favorite Metroid game. I kind of almost even want to go back and play it again. But he also asked how powerful Samus compared to Doomslayer. It depends on what version of Doomslayer we're talking about. Doomslayer is stupidly strong, so I think Doomslayer actually beats Samus. But that's not to scoff at. It's because Doomslayer can kill God, basically. That's the reason. Samus can freeze an entire planet at once, canonically speaking. It depends what equipment she has available to her. But she does have the power to destroy planets if necessary. But that's not on the level of I could kill God. Though that actually comes from the Metroid Prime comic, which is canon to, not the Metroid Prime, the old Super Metroid comic, which is canon to the Metroid universe, where while passing by, it was a manga that they did back in like 1990 something. But while passing by a planet, there was like a big thing that happened. One of the characters from it actually is reused in Other M. It's the corporal, whatever, the dude that she's with all the time, was actually in that comic before he was in Other M. But she like uses her ice blast or whatever, supercharges it off of the energy of her ship, I think, and she just freezes an entire planet. So it's not something that's like core to her suit, but the fact that her suit can't hook up and use the energy of her ship, that is a weapon in her arsenal. Which does, I think, come into play at least twice in the game series, that she can use the energy from her ship.
Yeah. Adam Malkovich, he's the one in Other M. And he plays deeply into Metroid Fusion, as well as Dread to an extent. It's unclear to me if she was just, I mean, she was clearly kind of projecting Adam onto the base's computer system. It's unclear to me whether the Chozo that clearly controls the computer by the end. I don't know if it's him from the very beginning, or if at some point he takes over, because at some point you realize, oh shit, I've been talking to this guy who's trying to kill me, and he's, leading me into a trap. But I don't know if he's doing that from the very beginning.
No.
It's hard to...
That old comic, so there was the serious part, and there was also a comedic kind of like break comic that would go with it. But I think they both matter because they tow you into like the personality of Samus as a person, like as a character. There's this one joke bit in like a 4-koma that they did for it. And that's the joking one. There's a 4-koma Metroid comic that goes alongside it. And it shows off that Samus, just because she's so used to being a ball, kind of like likes being a ball. So sometimes when she's by herself, she just turns into a ball and rolls around because it's fun.
I wonder if Google's going to give me this answer. So the question is Samus a D cup or a G?
No, should Samus have D cup or G
Should
cups.
she?
And
I
I think
want to know what she is.
the answer should be whatever looks best on the model you're using, right? So I think if you're dealing with the older sprites, you have to round up bigger so that you can tell at the smaller size that this is supposed to be a woman with a prominent bust. But if you're working with a 3D model, especially compared to Japanese people, you probably don't need to make them that big for them to still look like a prominent bust. So it's whatever looks best on the model you're working with.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Okay.
Yeah.
Samus is a monster. She is even without the suit, 6'3" tall.
Mm-hmm. And she's 7 foot in the suit.
Yeah, and 198 pounds.
They've actually made her smaller since then,
is
depending on the game.
awesome.
But I do like the older 6'3", because she's not 6'3" in other M.
Oh,
Right.
really? Yeah. I
No,
guess.
all the guys are
She's so
taller
short.
than her. Yeah.
Yeah, what was
Adam's
up with
taller than
that?
her.
That was just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Dread, she's clearly over 6 feet.
Part of it was because
from
another
what she was-
studio did the majority of other M, so it's
Yeah.
they clearly just didn't get the memo on some things.
Yeah, I was just wrong. Apparently, well, I don't know if this is canon, but the general consensus is she's a 36 double D.
Yeah. But like I said, you don't have to go super big. That would be the equivalent of an E in some things. Cups aren't equal in all parts of the world. But
It's interesting.
in America, there's double Ds before you even get to E's, right? There's several steps already. Yeah.
I'm not going to go into how I know this, but apparently sizes have been changing to make basically a D is not as big as it used to be.
Yeah. There's all kinds of things about it.
Or maybe it's
What it
just
should be.
Victoria's Secret. I don't know.
Well, what it's supposed to be is every cup is each additional inch from the difference of the band size to the actual bust size, right? And because it was originally developed like bra sizes in countries that used imperial systems, inch was the original. But if you go over to places that use metric, you'll find that the cup size is very different because they're going off of centimeters difference between the band and the bust size. So an American A can be bigger than, say, a Japanese A.
Mhm. So it's based on the size overall,
Yeah, so if you had a 32 band, right, but your bust at the nipple was, say, a 35, right, you'd be adding 3 inches of circumference around it, so that would be 3 cups.
Oh,
That is how the system
I
was
see what
originally
you- I
made.
see what you're
Yeah. So it's a circumference
see what you're
difference.
saying.
Yeah.
so it's okay. So it's not like a smaller person with the same size breast would end up being a higher size, because if they're the same size and they're adding the same number of inches
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, but the shape can be drastically different though because of that. So that's why it fitting is a nightmare sometimes for women. I only know this because I used to do costuming, so I had to know how to fit women for their costumes.
Mhm. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I will say I think a lot of the fan art
Yeah,
of
no, it
Samus
makes her way
a
bigger
lot
than she is,
larger. Yeah. But I guess the question was, should she? I don't think she should be any bigger than a double.
Yeah. I think what they have her in her models now are fine. But if you go back to sprites, right, you might have to make it look bigger than it should be just to make it look right because of how limited the size of the sprites are.
Yeah. If you look at the original, her proportions are just bizarre, and because the pixels are like that.
Yeah. You don't have options otherwise. But in high fidelity models that we have now, you can make it exactly as it should be. Whatever was the vision of the artist's head, you could just make it.
Yeah. They need to have another game where she wears the Justin Bailey
Oh, yeah.
suit. I like those colors. Well, it's funny. I just never. I've tried. It's another one of those games, one of those series that I've tried to get into, but have really had a hard time getting into the primes because I'm not big on
shooters.
First-person shooter.
Yeah.
I'm like, gosh, I love the story and I love the characters. I'm like,
and there's some of my
get into other
favorite
M.
shooters ever. Like I love playing the Metroid Prime games.
Oh yeah, I would agree. It's my favorite shooter, but that's not saying much for me.
Yeah.
Like, should I get Prime 4?
Yeah, but I
feel
love
like
it so
I have
much
to.
that I have definitely over 1,000 hours of Metroid Prime Hunters multiplayer. Just like the multiplayer alone, I have more than like 1,000 hours of. It was my favorite like arena shooter, I think, of maybe all time. I've played way too much in there.
I think of
like
all the
Diamond
series,
Ring.
I have the most. Yeah, I have the most hours in Hunters.
I even got like a headset for the DS. There was like a special one, and it was only on one side. It was like you clipped it onto one ear. It had like a little thing, and it had a special port for it because it had to have the headphone port, but it also had to have like this little tiny chip port that went to the side for the microphone itself. If you pull up a DS, you can see like the weird double port there next to the headphone. And I got it just to shit talk people in the lobbies, which were the only time that you could use the mic anyway. You couldn't talk to people in combat, only during the lobby. And I was like, a lot of the people were definitely way older than me too. I was young, and this little teenager shit talking you.
Yeah, I never got anything to be able to talk to people in that game, but I did play it probably more than any other Prime game. I feel like I got it for free. Or no, that was like a demo, right? It was called like First Hunt or something.
Yeah. A lot of people had
With
that.
the
It was
3DS?
Metroid Prime Hunters First Hunt. I think you could just get it with the 3DS.
I think I got it for free.
Or the regular DS. And the reason I know that is every single person I knew had that, because you could still play the multiplayer with that. You could just only play as Samus.
Right.
And I would take it with me because sometimes I would let my friends borrow that demo version so that we could play together with my full version, and it would piss them off because I'd be playing as the other characters they couldn't play as. I'm like, well, if you want to play the other characters, you can buy a copy of the damn game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I had the full game at some point, or bought the full game. I forgot it was on the DS. For some reason, I thought it was on the 3DS.
Yeah, it was the original DS.
Cool. Well, Hunters comes out pretty soon. Well, no, it's not until December, I guess. I mean, not Hunters. Metroid Prime.
I wish Hunters would come. They need to remaster that as like a single screen console game.
Yeah. Apparently, it was on the Wii U, whatever, eShop or whatever.
Yeah, when they put like DS games on there. Yeah.
Yeah. But Prime 4 comes out December 4th, so that's actually pretty soon. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If I get it, are you gonna force me to leave the Switch 2 here instead of bringing it with me to work?
Probably, yeah. At least until I beat it, but don't worry, it probably won't take very long at all. Actually, probably, I don't know if you want to play that because you're not too into it. That might be better to just reserve as something that I'm playing while you're in the room, and then you could just watch the whole game being played. Right, yeah.
I'd probably have more fun doing that. Honestly.
Yeah. We'll just play through it together. I think then you don't even have to leave your Switch for that too. We'll just whenever you're here, we can play it together. Yeah. Though my brother might be sending Donkey Kong Bonanza, so I might request you to leave your Switch here a little bit for that.
Yeah, I got in the habit of bringing it with me every day to work.
Because you never know if you're going to be stuck at Peach's.
Yeah, there'd be situations where I'd be like, oh, I need to drop off this prescription or some Gatorade or something. And she'd be like, why don't you just stay the night? I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't I'm not going to say no, but I didn't bring my Switch. Damn it.
Yeah. So the other news, the thing I thought was bigger news, than the Steam machine, because maybe my priorities are warped. But Legend of Zelda Lego set officially partnered with Nintendo. It's not the first official Lego partnership they did, but this is the best one so far because it has the one thing everybody's actually been fucking asking for, and that's real minifigs. They're not like weird, blocky versions of the characters like they did with the Mario one or whatever. Like, the Zelda, the Link minifigs are actual minifigs with the accessories to look like the characters are supposed to be. So that is a huge improvement. There's a Deku Tree set. I think that's the first one that's coming out. That is 2,500 pieces. It's $300. But it is for looking at the figures. Breath of the Wild. I guess you could argue it's both of them because their looks haven't changed too much. But Link doesn't have a weird arm, so it's a Breath of the Wild set. And even what's his face? Yeah. Hestu. Hestu is in the Deku Tree set too. Really big figure off to the side. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
It looks weird. Apparently, you can change out the leaves so that has like green leaves
or
at
like
top
the
of
cherry
Deku Tree.
blossoms, or
Yeah, you can switch it for cheap.
which actually I don't think they are cherry
300
blossoms. They
bucks.
look like peach blossoms to me. I think that might be what they are, but
Maybe your Deku blossom.
yeah, technically they're Deku blossoms.
He's got little Deku Babas around.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a
Scatola.
treehouse thing. Oh wait. Oh, it's got multiple multiple links. So
Well, the one in the advertisement was a classic Ocarina of Time looking Link. Oh, and everybody thinks that we could have potentially be getting an Ocarina of Time set because it almost looked like the Fire Temple or something, right? But there was just like there was a Link with a green hat and everything. That's what I would prefer.
No,
or something.
This set comes with both the Breath of the Wild Zelda and Link, and Ocarina of Time Young and Old Link.
Oh, nice. I would want the whole set just for that, just for the Ocarina of Time Link.
Yeah, he's got the wooden shield from Ocarina of Time, and this thing that looks like a treehouse is actually his house from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, the Deku shield.
Yeah, he's got the Deku shield, and the older one, in this one on the website, is carrying the ocarina. So, I guess you could probably put it in the hand of either one.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they've already got a Master Sword and a Hylian shield, so that would you could put that on the adult Link and it would fit. Because of that, they should give you another shield to go with them, but they're giving you an ocarina, so that's fair, right? I'm just saying they should put the mirror shield. It would be the one of the 3 shields from the game that's not already in somebody's hand in the display.
It does also have the Hylian shield.
Yeah. Well, I could see that in the display. Like the Breath of the Wild Link is holding the Master Sword and the Hylian shield in his hand.
Yeah, but they also have a different one, a wooden shield from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. Oh, like one of those early ones that you can pick up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And Zelda's holding the, what's it called? Not the Pearl Pad, that's the newer one, but the thing from Breath of the Wild.
Should have put Ocarina of Time Zelda in there, too.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, there's like mix and match, and yeah. It's a little more versatile. But yeah, the front of the box clearly shows the logos from those.
Yep. Having that many minifigs doesn't fully justify the $300 price tag. That's just because Lego's ridiculous. But it makes it a little bit better.
Oh, you know what? It's basically 2 sets in one.
Yeah.
It's got the full Ocarina of Time. Oh, that's why there's 2. They don't swap out. The Ocarina of Time Deku Tree has the green.
Okay.
leaves,
I only see
and
the
then
display
Breath of the Wild.
for the Breath of the Wild stuff on the site that I found this. So
Okay, yeah.
But it said it was
Legos-
2,500
Legos,
pieces, so it's like, that doesn't look like 2,500 pieces to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's two full sets. So you got two Deku Tree.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it also has, speaking of minifigs, it does also have a Korok from Breath.
But they don't have my favorite Deku Tree design. These are the two that look the closest
no.
alike, but my favorite is the Wind Waker one, where he's got like that really huge nose. Which I guess is implied to be the baby Deku Tree that sprouted in Ocarina of Time grown up because of the time difference between them. Right, because the Deku Tree dies and there's like a sapling that gets born.
Yeah. You're saying the Wind Waker.
Yeah, I think it was always implied that it was supposed to be that same Deku Tree that got born, which still works with the timeline, because who knows how long it takes a Deku Tree to grow.
And the area that he's in the Kokiri Forest, it looks like the area that he's in.
Yeah.
In Wind Waker.
And they implied that like he does. Oh, he's a giant chin. Yeah. The huge like boom, 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 boom. It like jiggles or whatever when he talks. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you?
I would say it was also implied that the Kokiri over time became the Koroks in that world. I don't think that holds up anymore. Maybe. Well, maybe it still does, because I personally think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are completely divorced from the main timeline. So their Koroks could also just be something completely different, right? I think everything's completely different. Just like they implied that the Zora and the Rito had some type of lineage in Wind Waker, but that doesn't have to matter, having both Zora and Rito around at the same time or whatever. Though I guess they could also still be around at the same time if one evolved into the other, just split lineages. But it doesn't matter at all, because I think everything that's in it is just an Easter egg reference, and that it's a split timeline. Like, it's its own separate part of the universe from everything else. And I think they did that on purpose so that they did not have to deal with the headache of all of the things that they already didn't plan to be a timeline to begin with.
Yeah. Fizzozo, you are 100% correct when it comes to Zelda.
Yeah, they never intended for it to be a timeline. That's something like fans started doing that on forums and stuff before them, and they kind of felt pressured to make it into a timeline.
Yeah, and those games, they basically come up with game mechanics and,
they'll come up with a fable for that game. They didn't care if it connected to anything else.
Yeah. Which, that's kind of a cool way. I mean, it's fun.
They're fairy tales,
them, but at the same time, it's like, okay, let's kind of tell another variation of the story. Let's say it's
the same troop of characters.
Yeah, all on an ocean, and now let's say it's in a future world where everything's in ruin. Yeah.
I think Wind Waker was the one that really ruined fans' minds, though, because it's talking about a calamity that happened like 500 years ago or whatever, and it could have just been an isolated world with its own isolated calamity, not connected to anything, but everybody watching is like, oh, it must be talking about Ocarina of Time, right? And then Twilight Princess is made after that, but I think by Twilight Princess, they already started intentionally connecting things, because that is clearly the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask link. They make some clear references that the Staphos that trains you is that link. But I think that decision was made between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I don't think it was made before that.
Maybe. But Wind Waker has the entire kingdom of Hyrule
underground. It does.
Which,
but also the castle is not in the same place on the map as Ocarina of Time. In fact, this is another thing. Because they weren't thinking about this being a continuity, things are in different places everywhere. It's actually closer to being in the same place of where it is in A Link to the Past, than it is in Ocarina of Time. Because it's smack dab in the center of the map, which is where it is in A Link to the Past.
Yeah. I will say I've not played very much of Age of Imprisonment yet.
Yeah.
I've got the very beginning of the story, and they've already gone into the underworld, into Low Rule, as your friend dubbed it. But it is cool how you get to see. I guess we already knew that the old castle, the old Hyrule Castle, was on the Great Plateau.
Yeah.
But you sort of, I guess, Zelda, when
at
she
least the
wakes
Temple
up,
of Time is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when she wakes up, she's on the Great Plateau, and then it's,
But
a short
here's the
walk to the
problem,
castle.
right? With that map, right? Like, it's the old Hyrule Castle in that world, right? And this is why it can't be connected to anything else. Because Lon Lon Ranch's ruins are in the place it should be compared to the new Market Town and Hyrule Castle.
Okay.
Right. It's just like more of like,
yeah.
It's just a reference. It's just disconnected. These things, because nothing's in the same place ever, except maybe Death Mountain is usually at the top of the map, but in Ocarina of Time, it's not at the top of the map. It's like the one game where Death Mountain isn't directly north of everything else.
Yeah. I have a feeling that
the Deku Tree
Hyrule's,
also moves around everywhere, so there's got to be different Deku Trees that just, like, the spore goes is like, they're thousands of years apart. It couldn't have been the same Great Deku Tree.
Yeah. I also feel like Hyrule, or whatever the name of the planet is, I think their poles shift every once in a while.
It's gotta be. Like North and South keep moving around.
Yeah, North and South keeps swapping. Like, wait a minute.
But the Death Mountain is still north, though. In almost every single game, except for Ocarina of Time, where it's technically northeast. Because they wanted to put the castle at the north. That's the only place where it's not. They just don't care. That's what it is. They just don't care.
Yeah. Although I will say there is an interesting Easter egg if you squint a little bit. That Akala Citadel, if you consider Akala Citadel as possibly the Hyrule Castle from A Link to the Past, that works remarkably well because Death Mountain was actually north and a little bit west. And the area around, if you just isolate, like, it matches with what you might call like lesser Hyrule.
Maybe.
Which I think some people have dubbed the Link to the Past Hyrule.
Well, I think because like a lot of people are just
very
assuming this is
clearly
more of
perfectly.
Hyrule than
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff. And it's definitely, there's references to that version of Hyrule there. It's kind of like people have dubbed the original Zelda as like West Hyrule because the castle's not even there at all. Like this is just separate from everywhere.
Or I think that I don't know what's up with the castle. I think you have to imagine the castle's just not like it's there. It's just not portrayed in the game.
Yeah, I think what we just have to imagine is that one, none of these things are actually linked. Two, even if they were, there has to be so much time between them that like there aren't even ruins of previous civilizations around, and like this is just where the new castle has been built or whatever. That's the only other way you could justify it.
I will say, and I think it's just an Easter egg. I think it's just a cool thing that they stuck in there, in that the Breath of the Wild map around Akala Citadel, in my opinion, is very clearly, you could say an homage to A Link to the Past.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
you can see all of the
there's
stuff
a
there.
swamp.
Yeah.
There's a swamp in the southwest area.
But the problem is you could say that about a bunch of other areas, even games where it was supposed to be the entirety of Hyrule, right? There are homages to different Zelda games, like everywhere in that game. And that's because they are just homages, right? Even the names of the beasts, right? which share names of things where you're like, oh, well, clearly it was named historically after. It's like, no, it's just an Easter egg. It's just an homage. It doesn't matter. Meadow is not named after Medley, outside of the fact that the game designers chose to use a similar name. Like in world, there's no real,
And some of the names in Japanese are very different.
Yeah. So it's like a localization thing. There's no actual connection. It's all just references.
Yeah. There's even, I hate to harp on this more, but like even the Zora's Domain is in the right place for from Link to the Past. Yeah, I was blown away when I realized, oh my God, Akala Citadel and the surrounding area is a Link to the Past.
If you were to rotate things to work, Zora's Domain should be where Akala Citadel is for Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hyrule, Lake Hyrule is completely wrong. That should be
on the other
way
side.
farther west or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right.
And then the Gerudo Desert should then be more north, where all the snow stuff is. Right.
Yep. Those swapped,
everything's moved. Because nothing. Yeah. The only game that had a cold area was Twilight Princess, which that area references a lot of Twilight Princess when you're in there, but it's where the Yeti and the sledding and stuff was. Which they even have a snowboarding course there too to kind of reference the sledding.
Yeah. The Twilight Princess map though is very weird.
It is, because Death Mountain is actually, I think, the weirdest place out of all of them. It's on the opposite side of the map than it's ever been.
Yeah. And every area, it's all enclosed by these gigantic, cliffs, right? Yeah. You go in, there's this tiny, if you look at the map, there's these tiny little corridors between areas. And it's no other Zelda game is like that.
Which also, because Death Mountain's there, technically Kakariko Village has been on that side of the map before, but that time it was only moved there because Death Mountain's there, not because Kakariko Village was there in a Link to the Past. But that is about where it would have been in A Link to the Past. And then it jumps over to Death Mountain and Ocarina of Time. Kakariko Village is never in the same place that it's supposed to be. Now it's south of the Zora's Domain, I think. Yeah,
it's completely wrong in Breath of the Wild in terms of location. I don't think it even matches
anywhere
with the Akala Citadel theory.
No, it's closer to where Kokiri Forest was in Ocarina of Time compared to Zora's Domain.
I can't picture the map, but I think you're right.
Yeah, dude. Well, I wouldn't say again, but I wouldn't even call it negative continuity, because negative continuity means intent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any intent in here at all.
Yeah, you could say Kakariko Village. Just does move around because it's people and the area, let's say, suddenly can't grow any more food, or there's some landslide and it destroys the village and they have to move.
But they completely changed what Kakariko Village is, right? Because they kind of gave it to the Sheikah and the new stuff, while Hateno is closer to Kakariko Village than Kakariko is in the type of people that's in it.
Yeah. But that's even more in the opposite direction. Instead of south of Akala, it's to the east. That's not the right place.
And then that's more of a reference to Twilight Princess, because it's where Link kind of started. And if you were going to use that same town, then there should actually be a forest temple or type area in between it and the rest of Hyrule. Because it's all a fairy tale. You know what actually would be the best explanation? All of these stories were actually just told to modern people out of time, so nobody actually remembers how the maps were. I think that is the only explanation you actually need. It's nobody actually remembers the maps, so nothing actually has to line up properly.
Yeah. And all the Mario games are just stage plays.
Yeah, they are, more or less. Some of them are books. Mario's got this weird... instead of a horizontal timeline, it's a expanding emanating vertical line of things. And I've always thought that the Mario and Luigi Paper Jam kind of reinforced that, where the Paper Mario story is literally a book in the Mario and Luigi's universe. So it's kind of a layered story verse where all of them are stories, some of them are stage plays or whatever, and they all just like exist within each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mario 3 is definitely a stage play. Like everything about it's a stage play.
Yeah. The one thing, they're missing from this Ocarina of Time Lego Deku Tree is that they don't have Goma. They don't even have. Well, I guess they have a spider web on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Goma? Not even a hint.
Yeah, if I wanted to think of an example of negative continuity because intent was involved, I would probably say Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim is an example of negative continuity, where the creator actually wants to destroy continuity at every chance that he gets.
Yeah. Maybe Goma's on the inside.
There is like they said there was a scatola, like the mouth reveals, and there's something in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there. That's very clearly, shown in this.
Well, we did make it to the very end of things. I had a couple
other
other
many things. But...
Yeah, a couple other things. I think the only thing that I want to bring up as we close out is there is going to be a new attraction in Japan that most of us will never, ever, ever get to see in our lives. But it's cool that it exists. That's going to be in Yomiuri Land. And it is a 26,000 square meter Pokemon attraction. I think it's called Poke Park Kanto. And there is like a good chunk of it, about half, maybe a little more than half, is a Pokemon forest where you can actually see like animatronics and stuff of Pokemon living in their natural habitat, and Sedge Town, which is actually set up like a Pokemon town with a Pokemart and a bunch of other stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, did you notice that the Toad Chef or Chef Toad from Nintendo Land?
Oh, yeah.
Is in the poster for Super Mario Galaxy movie?
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
I think this is
anything else except
there have been Chef Toads, but they're not the same character. Yeah, because technically no Toad that has an occupation in the new stuff is any of the Paper Mario Toads that all had like distinct designs and dot colors and names and stuff like that. They've completely moved away from that because Nintendo didn't like that idea in the first place, to the point that they started making it a rule that you couldn't do that in the games, which is lame because those characters were cool. And they had a naming convention back in those days where, at least in the localized version, I don't know how they did it in Japan, all of the names were puns, right? So they'd be blank T for Toad, but their name would say a word. So there's like Rust Toad is Rusty, right? And there's a bunch of them. I can't remember what the cook's name was, but literally all of them had names like that. Like, that's really cool. It's unfortunate that Nintendo hated that. In Paper Mario. In Toad Town. Yeah. It's unfortunate that Nintendo didn't like that.
Oh, well.
This is the first time we ever saw Toad Town, right? We wouldn't see it again until Mario Galaxy, during that opening part where Mario has to go through Toad Town. That's the first time that was ever in, I guess if you want to say there is anything such as canon in Mario, that's the closest thing that we got to a canon appearance. Because they don't like the Paper Mario games. It's not that they don't like the games, they just don't like the things that the developers were doing with them. They're like, no, keep making the games, but do it this way.
Wow, you're right.
No.
Herb tea?
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
Chef?
Maybe.
Nifty, minty, thrifty, zesty. We went a little overboard.
Yeah. But like, there were all these cool characters, and they all had personalities, so you like remember these characters.
Yeah.
Like
Captain T. Ode.
Yeah. Like there was personality to Toad Town itself. It's one of the things that made Paper Mario such a memorable game.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a Toad Town, I believe, in the Origami King.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Toad Town does exist. You know, they bring it back every so often. It just never looks like it did back in Paper Mario because they've got to do it different. I don't even mean like layout. I wouldn't expect the layout to be the same. I mean, the general design of the buildings and everything don't look the same either. Because they don't like to consider the Paper Mario Toad Town. It's like, this is Toad Town now. This is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a little Pokemon amusement park. I think it's cool. We don't know what it looks like yet. It's all just designs. It's like 3D characters that look like they would be... Actually, they look way higher fidelity than the ones in the game. That's probably going to piss a lot of people off. Like, hey, why can't the games look like this trailer mock-up that you did for your amusement park? I'm sure there are people yelling about that. But it'll open in February, I think, though tickets will already go on sale for the attraction as of the 21st of this month. But I just can't wait to see people doing video footage of it, because that's the closest I'm ever going to get to this park probably in my life. But that's fine. A video tour is good enough for me. Yep.
All right, and I guess we'll talk more about the Galaxy movie, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I'll try to re-watch the trailer before then, so it's fresh in my mind. Yeah, I think there's positives and negatives about it that we'll get into, but probably no more positive or negative than I thought about the other movie, so we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share this out with somebody else who might enjoy it. Anybody who might enjoy it. And we'll see you guys no later than Monday for Super Serial Showtime.
See ya. Have a good weekend.